What is going on, guys? This is a Pop Culture Crisis television show review for one of the most childish, snarky, mean-spirited pieces of garbage I have ever seen in my life, Velma. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, crisis actors. It's Mary. Look, we are a podcast of the people. We heard your vote. This is the only reason that we chose to do this review. We would never watch Velma of our own accord, but we did it for you. I hope you're grateful.
I would never watch this. I have a hard and fast rule against hate watching most of the time anyways. I don't like to do it. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think it's bad for in a lot of ways. But this is one of those things where we'll put this out. We will let people know what we think, and then we'll go from there. The first thing that comes to my mind when watching this show is that it absolutely hates everything that came before it. It hates the people that it's supposedly courting as an audience. It injects identity politics, not within the first 5 minutes, within the first 10 seconds in the voiceover. It goes back on everything that the previous version used to be when it talks about how Velma's the one who started Mystery Inc., not Fred and his creepy sex van. I hate this show. I hate it. I hate everything about it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I literally had a mini meltdown while watching it. But before we get into it, let's go through the synopsis of the two episodes. So in episode 1, a classmate is murdered at Velma's school, and Velma is accused of murder by two of the most stereotypical cops that you've ever seen. There isn't a single character in this show with any redeeming qualities except for Norville, who is the shaggy it's the race swap Shaggy. And
I'm not even sure if I agree with that either, because he's just a pathetic simp the whole time that gets cucked by Daphne and Velma.
Let me rephrase it. He has something that feels close to emotions that aren't snark and is immediately dumped on for it.
Right.
By everyone. If you're going to make a show, I don't care if it's a remake, I don't care if it's a reboot, I don't care what it is, the main character has to have at least some redeeming qualities. Yes. Velma has not one, but zero redeeming qualities.
The only backstory we have about Velma is that her mother went missing years ago under mysterious circumstances, and when she tried to look into her mother's disappearance, then she started having these hallucinations out of guilt that mystery solving is what made her mother go missing. It's kind of ridiculous. I almost don't even know what to think of that.
This is where I will give them their one positive for the show. I thought the scenes in which she's having those hallucinations were done well.
They look better than the rest of the show, but the rest of the show looks so visually atrocious and low effort that it barely is a redeeming quality at that point.
This is a show in which the writing attempts to be self-referential and meta without any of the skill, talent, or nuance required to do meta humor in a way that actually catches.
I have no idea who this is for, because
nobody
is plugged in and chronically online and obsessed with pop culture enough to understand these pathetic attempts at meta jokes. If you're not familiar with the realm that Mindy Kaling and this writer's room is familiar with, then there's no way these jokes will land for you. And then for our case, we are aware of like the things they're poking fun at. Like they mention adults who still watch cartoons, which is kind of a way to just spit on your audience. But we know what they're referring to, and it's still not funny because it just shows their disdain and contempt for whoever is watching.
That's what this show is, disdain and contempt, like distilled down into a television production. It's racialized at every corner. It's intersectionalized at every corner.
I didn't even know they race swapped Daphne.
Yeah, oh yeah.
She looks like a white character.
Yeah, Constance Wu.
But they're saying now in the show that she's Asian, so we're just supposed to go along with that too. They've race swapped everyone but Fred, who is ritualistically humiliated as like literally having a micro penis and daddy issues. It's like, I can't believe this, but the copy pasta that went viral after the first trailer came out, I read it on the show, and it referenced all of those plot points about Fred.
Yeah.
That he has like this weird issue about like his body, and he's not reached puberty yet, and like won't sleep with Daphne because of it. That was in the copy pasta. There is no way that someone outside of their writer's room or production team would know that. So the copy pasta did come from them.
Yeah. Even her dad.
I was shocked.
Even her dad is a piece of garbage in the show.
Yeah.
And treated like treats her dismissively, and she's got, is it a stepmom or a dad's girlfriend? In which did you see this? Okay, there's a scene, guys, where after she tells her dad that she's been accused of murder and may go to jail for murder, he basically calls her weird and tells her it's his fault, and then starts taking pictures of his pregnant girlfriend naked. Well, the pregnant girlfriend calls Daphne a bad person, and I took a screenshot of it and posted. I said, "This is somebody had to storyboard this concept out onto paper and think it was a good idea to put onto screen. This was made by people that have nothing but hate in their heart, that hate you for you to watch and hate." You're not supposed to like this. There isn't even it's not dialogue. It's badly worded, crappy lines that are designed, that are just snark back and forth, stitched into what is like the facsimile of a story.
There was a point at which she wanted to steal her dad's camera to use it as evidence for her innocence and in suspicion of Fred having committed the murder. And she's in the car with Norville talking about this, and she's like, I know where I could find a camera. And then it flashes you back to the scene that happened literally 60 seconds ago of her dad taking pictures with that camera. Like, they think the audience is like actually zero IQ.
Yeah, stupid.
Like, they think that we are the same IQ as a coral reef.
Okay, and they only managed to prove Fred's supposed innocence by humiliating him. They have to actually humiliate him in court. Here's the part this is where I lost it. It was the part where, okay, so she is going through one of her hallucinations. She's losing it, and she's talking to Norville on the phone. And the only way she can stop herself from going through the hallucination is to laugh. How does she do that? She laughs at the idea when Norville openly, honestly, and vulnerably puts himself out there and says, I like you. I like you. I like you. And she laughs at him, and it's humiliating. And I hate everything about this show. I hate it. Look, you cannot make something like this and not understand that first of all, they don't pay any homage, like there's no homage to the people that came before them. Like, this show only exists. This show only exists because it's been built off the backs of better, more creative, actually likely kind-hearted men and women that wanted to create something for people to love and enjoy. This is not made for anyone to love and enjoy. This is made for people to be filled with, like, we're falling into the trap because this. I literally wrote in my notes and said, I am a worse person for having watched this. I am less of a good person now than I was before they watched this. And let's not joke around. They make fun of everyone, and there's racial humor that makes fun of everyone, but it's not done in a way that's clever.
Well, there's also jokes about like sexuality.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And like jokes at the audience about how they are queer baiting the audience.
Yes.
Knowing that they're doing it. They know what is wrong with this show, but they're leaning into it. And then everything about it at the same time is generic.
Why would you make every character unlikable?
They even admit, like, that they made Velma intentionally unlikable. They said this is the most unlikable defendant we've ever had in court.
Yes.
Like, she is not only uncool like the original Velma is, but they took away all of the charm, kindness, and warmth and quirkiness, like genuine quirkiness, that the old Velma had.
That's because
she's completely unrecognizable.
That's because psychopaths in Hollywood don't understand that those are qualities that normal, well-adjusted people cherish and want.
Can you think of any redeeming quality of the show?
No. Oh, the animation for the hallucination scenes. Honestly, by the end of the second episode, I was like a prisoner of war, and I was numb to it. It was so bad. Like it was so shocking in the beginning when they started dumping on Fred, when they started dumping on men, when they started dumping on white people, when they started dumping on everyone. Like, they go through it and they make fun of literally everyone in the show, but you get the feeling from the very beginning that it's mean-spirited. It's not done in jest. There's no redeeming qualities. Like, I'm gonna have to edit this out because I'm so frustrated right now. But this is just one of the bugs having sex. Why did that need to be there?
First scene.
Bugs having sex. You were talking about what was the part you were talking about, the meta humor? You were talking about the pop culture references. That wasn't
Right.
the meta humor that I hated. What I hated was the meta humor related back to writing. It was related back to storytelling, like the scene about Riverdale.
That's kind of what I mean by pop culture is like we pay attention to those things and those trends in TV writing. But if you don't, then you're completely lost about what they're talking about.
There's the line where Fred says, "I now understand your journey completely and identify with you," or something like that. I'm like, you are not good enough at writing to make light of minor goals that you should have as a writer are not goals that you making this garbage have managed to achieve. Therefore, you do not have a right to be meta and joke about it. You trash head.
The one thing I do remember liking was a singular joke. That's it. And it wasn't laugh out loud funny. Like it was just a, lightly exhaling out of my nose funny. It was when Fred's false eyelashes fall off in the rain and then he looks like Hitler, like it lands to look like a Hitler mustache. that was kind of funny, but only unintentionally.
Look, okay, here's the other thing. This offends everybody. I had a friend of mine who's kind of you think that this is just offensive to people who are making like anti-SJW content? Oh, no. I have a friend of mine who found the scene between Daphne's two moms, the cops, pulling weapons on on Velma. He found these like, look, that's disgusting, and it incentivizes police like horrible behavior from cops because it makes light of it. Nobody can like this show. This is made for everyone to hate.
I can't think of who would like it outside of like the Mary Sue staff.
But
room,
you're right. No, I said like when we talk about there's a small audience for this. It isn't even like woke people. Like when we talk about woke, we make fun of that term a lot here because it gets overused. This is the definition of that word.
I mean, I'm just waiting for them to be punished by this being a total loss.
It's a 4. It's got a 2.5 on IMDb.
Oh,
out of 10. Out of 10?
Yeah.
Look,
I feel schizophrenic when I read these critic reviews that are totally like glowing and positive.
It can't be real. It can't be real.
It really, like, I don't know how this is a real person in good conscience saying, I laughed out loud at these jokes. They wrote it so cleverly. Like, I feel like I'm not even on the same planet as these people.
They can't be real. Like those can't be real human beings.
Is it written by AI?
I guess.
I know there's somebody out there who feels that way, right?
No. Okay, there was one line. I don't even know if I'm going to be allowed to say this on YouTube, but there's a line that the moment that I checked out completely, where I realized that they were just trying to upset everyone, was when first it was when she talks about being a drug dealer with Daphne. And she says that those only white people cannot sell drugs out of boredom. Minorities have to sell drugs to escape poverty. But it wasn't that line. It's when she's in the car and she says, "If I were a rich white dude, I'd kill everyone just because I can get away with it."
Oh yeah,
Fuck
I remember
you.
that one.
Fuck
yeah, there
you.
you go. The casual flyby racist comments against white people. Like don't tell me after this airs that intentional race swapping of traditionally white characters is not a racial humiliation ritual.
Yeah.
It is totally that. That is what boardrooms and writers' rooms know it is. To deny that is completely detached from reality. Don't bury your head in the sand about it. They race swapped these characters because they believe it represents completely bastardizing and discarding what the character used to be.
Yep. What you guys have to understand is when me and Mary do reviews, it's a joke. I end up going to all of these movies. Everyone's like, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And I end up generally liking most of everything. Like, I don't love most of the movies that are coming out, but at least of the blockbusters that we review, I go, it was fine. It takes a lot to piss me off. And this show pissed me off. Like, right. And it's not even that long. They're like 25 minutes. It felt like 6 hours.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
I'm not trying to be an anti-woke shill by saying this. It just didn't have anything redeeming about it. I would say if it did. She's also, now that I'm looking at her, she looks like Ronald McDonald. I don't know what they were thinking. The way this show looks is absolutely hideous. I mean, I understand why some people watch anime where it doesn't have a super deep plot or anything, but it just looks nice and it's like relaxing, I suppose. Like you're not super invested in the plot, but you enjoy the aesthetic of it. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about Velma.
Even the talk about her mom feels detached, as if they don't know what it's like to be loved by a parent. In the show, they're talking about how Velma's mom left to go get her a gift because she was such a great mystery solver. She found all her gifts ahead of time before Christmas, and her mom went to get her a gift that she could unwrap on Christmas Day. That's actually kind of cute, but it's done in such a way that it doesn't feel like the people writing it have ever actually been loved by a parent.
Well, because they haven't.
Like,
that's why they write
disgusting.
Things like this. And they even show that all of Velma's memories where she thinks that she was being a lovable, mischievous kid actually were her just being an inconsiderate brat.
Yeah.
Like,
she
it shows that her entire life has been the same unlovable piece of shit for years.
It's not funny.
Why are we supposed to like this person?
As Zach from Comics Matter would say, it's not funny, it's not fun. There's no reason to watch this. It's mean-spirited, it's snarky, it hates you, the writers hate you, the actors hate you. They want you to hate this. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I would say, like, if hate watching makes you feel like your quality of life is lowering, don't watch it. If you get a kick out of hate watching things, you know, by all means, who am I to stop you?
No, I'm trying to stop you.
We watched this because you asked for us to review it, and I appreciate that. And if you ask for us to continue reviewing it, we will. But here's your warning. If you had any idea of watching it yourself, I discourage that.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.